Hey guys, Liana here, and it's Mountain Monday, so I got a mountain in The Witcher 3, big mountain range. So, everybody breathe in, and out, and in, and out. Okay, now I still have a bit of a cold, so I apologize, that's why I sound a bit stuffy. But I'm still going, still recording stuff. And today I want to talk about freedom. Yeah, that's my concept for today. And I'm just going to run around this game doing stuff because if I actually start playing, I'm going to hit plot moments, and numerous people have asked me, please no spoilers. So yes, I will avoid plot spoilers. Because this is just a background so I can find a digital mountain to talk about a concept. And that concept today is freedom. Now, what is freedom? Freedom is basically the ability and opportunity to do what you want. It's connected with concepts like agency, and I'm not going to bore you with these concepts. But freedom is actually a pretty difficult thing because measuring individual freedoms versus the greater good is something that's kept philosophers busy for thousands of years. And we're obviously not going to solve this problem today. But the nice thing is, for regular people, we don't have to. There are certain freedoms and certain rights connected to freedoms that are enshrined by various democratic constitutions, and they're fairly consistent. The, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, things like these. And these aren't absolute freedoms, they're limited freedoms, but we still have them. And what makes these freedoms special, what makes them enshrined in legal documentation and in political speech is that they're difficult. They are actually very difficult things to maintain because at their core, they involve accepting that you have to allow other people to do things you believe to be wrong. In some cases, very wrong. And this is, not easy. I don't think anybody that attempts to make you believe it's easy is probably trying to sell you something. Concepts like religious freedom, they ain't easy. And they're not intended to be. They're intended to be right. And so I've come across a lot of, I'll call them postmodern schools of thought, and I'm sure that some of these schools of thought that I'm not going to single out would absolutely chafe at the concept of being lumped into postmodernism, but they are. They're putting primacy of experience and feeling over logic. It's undeniable that is the case, and who says that's a bad thing all the time? It's a problem when taken to excess. Whoa. This is like feeding my cats. And one of these things is this idea of social justice, and I'm gonna make that Big Tent. I'm talking about all movements, not just the ostensibly left-wing ones. I'm talking about anything that involves a fight for rights. A lot of these rights arguments tend to trot on people's freedoms. And yes, Momo. And it's really surprising to me that people wouldn't see the fault in logic, the dissonance inherent in an argument that claims to stand up for rights by limiting freedoms. And because, a right isn't something you're forced to do. A right is something that you're given an opportunity to do. If it's something you're forced to do, it's not considered a right, it's considered a responsibility. And why can't I open this thing? Come on, thing. Excuse me. And One of the things I note most, on the left and the right equally, believe it or not, is this um, tendency to shortcut freedoms and go after people's religious freedoms. And I believe that a secular society is the best society on the whole, but I think that people should have the right to practice any religion and no religion, provided they violate no law. And this is where we start getting tricky, is people start trying to clever their way around religious freedoms by saying, well, these things should be illegal because they're cruel and this and that. No, 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 no. You think they're cruel. But to think something is personally wrong and to say it meets the burden of criminality are two very, very different things. And I think a lot of people take lazy mental shortcuts because it's easy. They want to claim that something is a bigger problem than it is to get around people's constitutionally enshrined religious freedoms. And to me, that's the mark of a bad intellectual argument. And I don't want to get into details with this because that's going to cause me more problems than warrants this topic. There's a lot of things that come up against, as I said, this issue. And the point I just want to make for all those activists out there of any stripe, your activism cannot infringe on another person's freedom, social, political, or otherwise. It just can't. If it does, there's something wrong with your thinking, and you need to go back to the drawing board, because the people that came up with these freedoms, they were smart people. And they understood that, they didn't just randomly pick some freedoms. They didn't pick freedom for, jelly beans. They picked freedoms that were important. And, they picked them for a reason. And the moral for me is that I think we have to be suspicious of anybody who just wants to toss out, rationalist movement, political thought because it's inconvenient. And I'll leave it there because we're already at 8 minutes, and that's enough on freedom. People get choked on these things, so I try to keep them short. Just food for thought when you're going out and trying to save the world. But here's a mountain now. So mountain at sea. Ready? Breathe in. And out. And in.